Hey guys, it's PokeGeek Dom. I'm back with another video. This one's going to be another fundamentals video where I'm going to teach you guys how to make your own price watch spreadsheets in Google Sheets, which is completely free. Also, how to include a graph so that way you can visualize price more easily. But I'm going to bring that to you. Also, a little bit of news that has come out in the last few weeks, other than all my hair falling out. It just comes with age. Alright guys, real quick, short and sweet this time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell. You know what to do. You know why. I don't really have to explain it to you. Let's just get into the content real quick. Really, the quick news items I just wanted to hit on for you guys was that we do have all the cards being revealed from Matchless Fighters in Japan. That happened recently, and really the big reason why I wanted to point that out is because of the Galarian legendary birds from 1st Gen. I don't know if you guys have seen them yet. I'll probably put a picture of them somewhere around here so you can look at them as well. But dear God, they look amazing. And I think these are going to be cards that really a lot of people are going to want. A lot of people are going to be opening packs, cracking boxes, all sorts of things to try and get these birds because they are just really amazing artwork. I think they look really cool, just in my personal opinion. There are a lot of people that I've talked to who also agree. Everybody kind of has their favorite one, but I think we can all agree that all three are kind of really cool takes on something that we already really liked. And really that kind of leads me into the next news topic is that Pokemon released the next English set that's going to be coming out in, I believe it's June. I'll have to look at that. June. I'm sure I'll put the date up here or something. But it's for Chilling Reign. Chilling Reign. Sounds very metal. Chilling Reign. But Chilling Reign will essentially be the Japanese sets, Matchless Fighters, and then Silver Lance and Jet Black Spirit, which are the two Calyrex sets. But you'll have those three sets all going into one English set, which will be Chilling Reign. I'm sure it'll be quite a large set from the sounds of that. But it really looks like, you know, we have a lot of cards to still discover. They haven't revealed a lot about Silver Lance and Jet Black Spirit yet. They've revealed some of the cards, but not a lot of them. But I think that this set might be another one that maybe has a few chase cards in it, especially if we're talking about those Galarian birds or also Vs. But they showed the alternate arts, which are, you know, probably going to be a little tougher to pull, but also really sought after. So I think Chilling Reign could be kind of a fun set. It's really funny that they're coming out with a set called Chilling Reign in June when it's going to be really hot. But what can you do? Everything was kind of pushed back from COVID. So other than that, I think that's about all the news I really have lately. Just, you know, to bring you anything market wise, you know, I've preached this a lot. I maybe haven't talked about it a lot on this channel because I haven't really gotten to that kind of stuff, doing market watch videos for you guys, and that stuff will eventually come. But, you know, anybody I've talked to about Shining Fates, anybody I've talked to who's like a collector who, you know, doesn't want to pay scalper prices and they're worried that they're going to have to overpay, I told them weeks ago, hold the line, have patience. A lot of this stuff is going to hit the market. There's going to be a lot of people buying it, a lot of people putting it up for sale, and we have multiple waves coming. You know, they've already done 2 waves, and we're probably still seeing more things coming for the next month or 2. So April, May, we might still be seeing Shining Fates hit the shelves. Shining Fates right now, you can get ETBs for $80. Now, $80 isn't great for a product that literally was released, you know, just a few weeks ago. But compared to the $150 that everybody thought, you know, they were going to get for it when they cleared off all those store shelves. Like it'll eventually climb. Like once the waves are over and there's likely, you know, nobody knows for sure, but likely no more reprints coming of Shining Fates after that. But I think really this set, you know, kind of turned out to be pretty top heavy. I think if you didn't get a Charizard, while you got some other cool cards that were fun, most of them, there's just so many. Go on TCG Player, look right now at Baby Shinies. There are so many that are $5, $6, even some down $3, $4. So, like I preached to a friend, I personally said, if they get to 75, you should probably start looking at buying some. And I think that's, a smart way to go if you're still out there looking for it. But anyway, that's another, just off topic. Like I said, someday in the future, I will be bringing you guys market watch videos and talking about, things that I'm keeping an eye on, things that I'm buying, things I'm selling. One of these days, if I ever get my CGC submission back, I'll do a CGC return video for you guys, though I'm not crazy about those. A lot of the time to me, it's just like, hey, look at these things I have. It's not really my style. So anyway, aside from that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about our main topic before I get into it and we start looking at spreadsheets and maths and everybody tunes out and probably turns this video off. But first I wanted to talk about kind of why I'm making this video, why it's important to have your own price watch spreadsheet instead of just going to a website like Pika Stocks or PokemonPrice.com, or going to PSA and you can actually look at their auction prices that they have on there. For the most part, I'm not really fond of most of those websites. I do use them from time to time just to look at the history of price, but you really have to pay attention to when you're looking at those websites. A lot of the time you'll see like average market price or lows and highs, and if you look at certain highs, there's shill bids out there that get recorded. There's the case where certain websites only show you graded cards but not raw cards, or only show you raw cards and not graded cards, or TCG Player, which a lot of the time you're looking at cards or buying cards without seeing a picture, and you're really taking kind of a risk whenever it comes to that. We all generally take a risk whenever we're buying a card based on pictures and not actually having the card in hand. I think what making your own price watch spreadsheets does is it helps you kind of curate your own list. You're able to just pretty much narrow down focus on the things that you're looking into or the things that you want to keep an eye on, whether that's particular cards that you want to keep an eye on, particular sealed products if you want to watch the price for those sealed products to see where it's going, or where it's been, or what you think it might do in the future. You have all your own personal price data essentially to work with. And don't get me wrong, those, like I said, those other websites, they do serve a purpose, and it's not like they're all terribly bad or anything like that, but they're working with a lot of data, and it's kind of tough to weed through that and find a way that you can exclude things like shill bids or fake auctions, or like hacked accounts and stuff like that. And the reason why a lot of this is so important is because those discrepancies, or what essentially ends up being as possibly misleading information, if you use that misleading information and then make a buy that's too high, or you sold too low because of it, you're essentially losing money because of bad information. Now, you can blame those websites when it comes down to it or whatever, but really it should have been on you as the person who should be doing the research to always do your own research. You can sit there and blame that website and be upset about the fact that there was misleading information in their data set, but it's still up to you to look through that information and make sure there's not any outliers that don't make sense or things like that. I also think that honestly, a a lot of these discrepancies on these websites and things like that aren't talked about very much in the community. I think that a lot of people kind of just take whatever they see on those websites as gospel, and I don't think that's a good way to kind of conduct it unless you're really, like I said, keeping an eye and trying to, exclude those outliers, whenever you're kind of viewing that information. So to summarize, pretty much I think it's just a great idea to keep your own price watch spreadsheets. Like I said, you can keep an eye on just the things you want to keep an eye on. And of course, you can always update this later and, make more spreadsheets for different products you then get interested in. You can essentially just have it expand and expand. And I think it's just a better way all around. When you keep your own information, then your trust isn't, being laid with someone else, but rather with yourself and how much you trust your own work and your own due diligence. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the spreadsheet and we'll take a look and hopefully I'll learn you something. Alright guys, well, we're in Google Sheets here, as you can see. Here I will kind of give you the lay of the land, show you how to kind of build a price watch, kind of spreadsheet, and then after that I'm going to show you how to graph it out or insert a graph that'll show all that information on a line graph so that way you can easily track how the price is moving. So first things first, I'm just going to show you this example I kind of pre-made here. Essentially you just need like a date column, just like this one, where you'll just put in the date that you got whatever the information from. So let's say I'm looking at one particular card and I'm trying to find the raw price, what it is in like each grade. And if you wanted to, you could break it down by company too, so you could see, any differentiating factors between the companies, like what is a CGC 9.5 compared to a PSA 10, and things like that. So really here I just have some kind of just made up data that I put in as far as the price for this make-believe card, but you'll need just the date, like I said, and then columns that you'll keep price on, how many of these you choose to keep, or you could just put PSA 10 and CGC 10 and BGS 10 if that's all you really wanted to track. Or say you weren't tracking cards at all, you're tracking sealed product, then you could just put a column for the actual price of that sealed product, and that's really all you would need. But essentially you'll come in here. What I like to do is I'll pick every day that I look up a particular card or something like that, I will look at the information for the day. Then I will take if I saw 5 or 6 different sales of that particular card and they were ranging in different prices, I would make an average of those prices and put that in. So if you wanted to do that easily, you could say it sold for 50, 45, 35, 45 again, and 37. If you wanted to easily get an average of that, so what you'll do is you'll put it in equals average beginning parentheses, you'll select the area of all the information you want to include in the parentheses, hit enter, and that'll give you your answer, the average of all those numbers. So if I wanted to, I could take that 42.4, say that's the average price of that for that day, and put in the date, put in that price, and then I'd move on to the next thing. I'd check PSA 9 or PSA 10, whatever. It's completely up to you how thorough you want to be on what you're tracking, but that's just an easy way to average out those prices, so that way you can just get like a singular number for each day for each column. Now, taking that information, which it's you look at a giant spreadsheet, say I had all this filled out. It'd just be a big sea of different numbers, and it wouldn't be very easy to read or pay attention to or really get an idea of how the price is moving. Yes, you could look at it and you could be like, okay, the raw is kind of moving up, it moved down, then it moved back up again, and you could kind of get that idea. But as far as like taking that and comparing it to other things is really tough when you're having to look across columns and look through rows in order to see, was that on that day or this day? So what I'm going to do is show you how to make a line graph that'll essentially take all that information and put it in a visual representation for you, which will make it really easy to read through. So in order to do that, what you'll do is you won't select these top little areas if you have them. You don't have to have them, but I like to label my things when it comes to making spreadsheets. You'll start at date, and then you'll left click and drag it all the way down. You can just go to here if you wanted to, but I'm including all the information just because the graph will actually be self-updating. So as you add more information, the graph will update itself. But you select that area, then you can either come over here, hit insert chart, or you can go up top to insert and then click chart there. Either way works, but I'm going to click that. And when it first comes up, you may get a column chart, you may get like a scatter plot. It just kind of differs. I think Google Sheets likes to just depending on what the data looks like, it will rearrange it in a different chart. But what we'll do is click on chart type, and we're going to select line chart. Now it'll look very basic and very nothing as far as right now, so we're not too worried about this. We're going to make some adjustments and make that look better so we can actually read it. Now, what's the first thing we're going to do? We're going to go down to the bottom, see where it says use row 2 as headers. We're going to check that. What that means is this is row 2, and it's going to use all those as the headers for the different series that come in here. Below that, we're also going to use column A as labels. So when we check that, you'll see it changes very much. And what it means is we're using column A here as our labels. So each point is going to be labeled by something that's in column A. So we're using those dates as labels, which is exactly what we want to do for our horizontal axis. Now we're going to look at the next thing. You go over to customize, and you got a few different options here as far as customizing the way that your chart looks, and there are a lot of different options here, and you can play around with them, see what you like. Maybe there's something I won't go over here that you'd like to include, and if so, you can comment it down below, leave that information for somebody else in case they want to use it, or maybe you'll teach me something. But chart style, you can change the background color, the font, things like that. I'm not really interested in that right now. We'll go to the chart and axes titles. Now the chart title, you can go ahead and include that. I'll just call it this card. But if you wanted to, you could, make the chart title whatever card or sealed product you're looking at. You can change the font size, all that. I'm not really interested in that, but we can hit this drop down. There's a subtitle if you wanted to put that there, but really I'm interested in naming the horizontal axes title, which will be date. Again, I'll make that bold. And then for the vertical axes title, this one is price, which I will also make bold. Now, that pretty much takes care of the charts and axes title. Let's move on to series. Now here, the series means all the things that are in your legend, you can make adjustments to those. If you wanted to, you could change the line opacity, make it a lot faded, or you could bring it back up a little bit depending on how you wanted to do it. Right now it's on apply to all series, but you could go one by one and give individual, different options and things as far as each one looks, or you could change the line type to where they look different. All those are kind of available to you. Now, one thing that I like to do is I will change the point size. The default is 2 as the lowest one, but I like to make it 3 to make it a little easier to see. And essentially that puts the data points on your line graph. I like to see those because they actually display, and you could they actually display like where the price points are and things like that. And if you wanted to, you could change the point shape. You can make them triangles, a pentagon, hexagon, whatever you want to do. But if you go down here, there are a few other things that you can choose from. Error bars. What's error bars is essentially, giving you a range of, possibly that it's outside of that. We're not dealing with like imperfect information here as far as, what we're looking at. So we don't really need that. Data labels. This will actually turn on the actual labels of the data as it comes through, and it even colors it the same as the line it represents. This can be useful for some people. I personally don't like it. I think it kind of clutters up our chart. Let me pull that back up. I think, like I said, I think that kind of clutters up the chart, so I'll leave that off. You can also do trend lines, which if you know anything about watching, different markets, watching stocks, things like that, trend lines can be helpful. They do show you like in what direction price is moving or has been moving recently. Personally, I'm not going to work with trend lines. I'm not showing you anything that difficult just yet, but that may be something that you want to look into in the future when you have a lot more data to work with. Next, we'll look at the legend. The legend is essentially your little label that tells you, what each color represents. And I will take that. You can change its position, put it anywhere around there, or you can even remove it if you want to. Personally, I like it on the right side, but that's just, my preference. You can, again, make things bold, change its font, all that. Not really concerned with that. Next, we have the horizontal axes where you can make different adjustments. You can like make the information bold, but really what I want to do is treat labels as text on the horizontal axis. What that means is that it actually takes each data point and makes that a data point in the chart. If you don't have that on, as you can tell, some of our data is left out. We have a 110 and then we have 124. It's kind of averaging out the information. It's not exactly putting it where we had put our information as far as the, through lines. So if we treat labels as text, it automatically puts a label for each point of data. So that way we know this particular data point came from this particular date, and we don't have to kind of look what dates it's between and make some kind of assumption based on that. So I like having that on. Other than that, the only other thing I'll really go over is slant labels. If you like, you can slant your label. That's a 30 degree, or you can even go like to 60 degrees. I think it just kind of puts a little more leeway on reading that information so it's not all jumbled together. I think 60 is a little crazy for a date, but 30% looks okay to me. I'm going to leave that there. We'll close down horizontal axis. We'll look at vertical axis. Now, treat labels as text is already selected there. It's kind of the same thing. It doesn't really make a big adjustment for what we have in there right now. You can play with minimum and maximum values, and what that does is it sets a minimum or maximum value that it'll actually display on the axis. We don't have enough information to be concerned with that, but that's just something that you can think about. Scale factor, that's if you wanted to scale down your graph. If you're dealing with large numbers and things like that, you can always scale it down. Other than that, I don't think there's anything really to go over there. And then finally, grid lines and ticks. If you wanted to, you could do minor grid lines. You see those kind of show up in there. Those don't really make a big difference, but you can see the major grid lines definitely do. So we'll leave those on. You can also include major ticks, which are just kind of the lines at the side of the graph, or minor ticks, which either one of those, it's really up to you. Personally, I like having major ticks on for both the vertical and the horizontal axis. There we go. And now we can kind of look at our graph here. should have everything set up correctly if I do believe. Let's close that. And now when we look at our information, it's kind of showing us a graph of where things are moving. Yes, granted, all this information is just kind of made up, but if you're doing your own price tracking, you know, this isn't something, as you can see, you know, these are just fake numbers, but really I don't track like the price of something every single day. I maybe, you know, check on it every few days, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. It really depends on the item and how often I might see it come up. So what you can do is just whenever you are looking at prices for something that you've been looking at, you know, just don't forget to throw that information into your Google Sheets. And as you can see here, you know, you can just start adding new information later on. You know, say, you know, you're looking at, you know, suddenly a BGS 8 came up on the, you know, came up on the market, and now you have information to go off of as you're watching them sell, and you have that new lot. You may need to make some adjustments as far as what it looks like, because it looks like they don't always come in with the same settings. As you can see, point size isn't there like it was before, but we can just remove that, change it to 3, and then it looks just like everything else. So by curating your own price watch spreadsheets and then keeping your own graphs in those spreadsheets, you can then, you know, take advantage of a lot of missed opportunities that people might miss out on, or you also will, you know, not fall victim to a lot of those pitfalls that may come from misinformation coming from other websites that you can't curate as easily. So with that, that's pretty much the video, guys. You know, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching if you made it all to the end. I know it's a bunch of math and a bunch of boring stuff, but I really think things like this are things that you can take advantage of in order to be a more mindful investor or a more mindful collector, either way you want to look at it. But you know, getting the most bang for your buck and spending your money wisely is a big part of what we're talking about on this channel. So I hope to bring you guys more videos just like this one, more fundamentals that you can learn from and can build that concrete foundation of being a better investor. So with that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that bell, and I will see you guys next time. Stay geeky.